December 14th, 2019. Last video we was talking about the leopard spirit, the foul spirits, and how they have a certain spirit about them. We was talking about the Vatican light show, how the Vatican has those spirits running through there, even demons as well. Now you have to also know that the Vatican worships the dragon. The dragon is Satan, symbolizes Satan. He has his own planet and his own celestial star. It's called the planet 7X. You can look up that, Gil Broussard, planet 7X. Now, we're going to talk about Revelation 13 and the actual beast and what it's comprised of and what it's made of, who it's made of. Okay? So if you go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 2, it says, well, I'm going to start at 1, because 1 has a good point in it too. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Sea is symbology for people. Okay? Sea is symbology for people. You can look it up in the metaphysical dictionary, and you will see that sea is symbolic also for people, nations, and tongues. Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. These are places that blaspheme the name of God and the word of God. Okay? The heads represent those nations, like a prime minister, president, counselor. Those are the heads. Okay? Now, these 10 horns, or not the 10 horns, these 10 heads represents the G10. This is also the 10 toes that you see in Daniel. That's the UK, Japan, Sweden, Europe, Norway, Switzerland, the US, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Those are the 10 heads. Okay? Those are the ones that have seats of power and seats of authority. That's why when they go to the United Nations, certain nations have veto power and other nations don't. Well, this is the G10. Okay? Then it says in verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. The leopard represents Greece or Italy. Okay? So the heads are one thing, and then the body is another. Okay? The leopard, the body is Greece or Italy. And his feet were as the feet of a bear. The bear is Russia. Okay? And his mouth as the mouth of a lion. The lion is Great Britain. Okay? And then it says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay? And I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Okay? The deadly wound was the Vatican. That was the deadly wound. That was the head. That's the head of this empire now. That's why you see the Pope going to all these different places. Didn't he go to Japan? Didn't he come here to America? Didn't he go to the United Nations? Okay? These are all the seats of power that he has gone to. And now they are wondering, the whole world is wondering and at marvel at Pope Francis. They are all marveling at what he's doing, what he's able to accomplish. What is he doing as he goes around to different places? He's the most popular Pope. This is what they said when he came in. He's the most popular Pope. That's a wonder. let's see, what else? In verse 4 it says, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? Who is like unto this great power? Who is like unto them? Now, the arm of the military of the Vatican is NATO. Okay, that's the arm of the Vatican is NATO, which they will control soon when Antichrist comes. When the Antichrist is shown, he will take control of those places. Why is the lion of the body? Because that's where the monetary, that's where the economic, remember I told you 4 things. Economics, right? That's the lion, because London is where all the exchanges are at, monetary exchanges. Russia, because they have the most powerful military now. They have the advanced weapons and military. Italy and Greece, because they have the most luxurious commerce. They have the most luxuries in commerce. Remember, the merchants of the earth mourn because nobody's buying those luxurious goods. Okay? So Italy and Greece, the Mediterranean, that represents that area of merchants. Okay? And then the Vatican, you have the ecclesiastical power. Okay? Now, the Vatican also represents the political power. Remember, I told you that. The Vatican has the political and the ecclesiastical power. And it controls all of these different places. Alright? But it's also, got to go back to Daniel's vision, it's mixed with iron and clay. Meaning it's some of God and some of iron, which is Rome or Greece. It still has that structure, but they don't gel together. The clay represents God's people. They don't gel together. Iron and clay don't mix together. It's very fragile, very brittle. Anything can topple this statue over. Okay? We're going to go to next. We're going to go back to Revelation 18, and we're going to talk about the mark. We're going to go into, now that I gave you some in-depth things that you can see the beast and everything, we're going to talk about the actual mark and what the mark will also be like in an in-depth thing. Okay? So you'll know for yourself, and you can go back and read and pick up the things that I said, how these things played out. Prior to, I was saying that in Second Ezra you have the timeline of this kingdom, of this last kingdom. I said it was in chapter 6, but it's actually in chapter 12. Second Ezra chapter 12, the whole chapter. You can read the whole chapter, but it starts at verse 14. I'm going to read a little bit. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 12, verse 14. 12 kings will reign in it, one after another, whereof the second will begin to reign, and will have a longer time than any of the 12. This is the interpretation of the 12 wings which you saw. Now the 12 wings come from the eagle. Okay? The eagle, and that's in verse 11. The eagle whom you saw come up from the sea is the 4th kingdom which appeared in the vision to your brother Daniel. Alright? So 2nd Ezra's got the fullness of what Daniel didn't get. So that's 2nd Ezra chapter 12, verse 14. You can read the whole chapter. So I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to expound a little bit more on that. Then we'll go into the mark. Alright? Shalom, shalom.